Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm coming to the end of some of my paints, so I want to mix up some of my colours, add them all into one creation, put them all into one cup and just tip it onto a canvas. But I'm going to add 3 drops of silicone oil to one of the colours. I'm excited to see how it reacts. It's going to create some really interesting patterns, and this is a great alternative to something like Australian Floetrol, for example, to create some of those different cells. So, are we ready? I'm going to take you down so you can see the colours that I'm coming to the end of, and I'm going to show you the colour that I add the silicone oil to. And then we are going to pour on a really small canvas. It's just going to be an 8 by 8 inch canvas, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's still going to be really pretty. So let's see what we can create. So first of all, I'm going to paint my sides. I'm using the green straight from the tub, as you can see, with my paintbrush, and I'm just going to go along the edges and ensure I've got good coverage. As you'll have seen from many of my pieces, I do paint my edges first. It's just something that I do as part of my normal process to ensure the edges are fully covered with an opaque coloured paint. So you can see here, the edges of the canvas are covered with the paint, and I've just brushed my paintbrush over the top on the surface just to remove any excess paint. And the colour combination that I'm using are going to be pinks and purples. I'm using silicone oil in one colour. I'm going to use it in just that one colour on the end. And they're my colours there, including that green that I've used on the base. And of course I want to add some metallic gold. I'm going to paddle all of those in one cup. But first of all, I'm just going to place 3 drops of silicone into that cup. And then I'm going to give it a good stir. So I just literally take my spatula and stir the silicone up into that paint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my colours one by one and just add them to the cup until the cup is filled with the paint that I've got left over. And then the intention is literally just to pour the paint from the cup onto the canvas. You'll see here that I'm doing some layers, so I'm just taking one colour at a time, adding in a bit of the paint, and then going to the other colour until I've used all those colours up. The reason I'm layering them is because I want them to infuse together. I don't want them to be muddy, but I do want enough contrast between each layer and each colour themselves. And for me to be able to achieve that, that's why I layer the paints one by one and repeat that process until all the paints have been used up. So remember, we've got silicone oil in one of the colours, and that's infused now with all those other colours. And all I'm literally going to do is pour that paint direct from the cup on top of the canvas. Once all the paint is out of the cup, and it's beautiful by the way, I'm just going to let the paint settle before taking my blow dryer, and it's going to be on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed, and I'm just going to spread that paint across the canvas, allow it to drip down the edges, and ensure that I haven't got any deep puddles of paint on that surface area. So I just blow those paints from the centre to the outer edge, and I can already see some of that paint reacting with the silicone oil, but I will take you in for a closer look because this really does transform. I'm going to use my torch in a minute, and that torch isn't only going to pop any air bubbles, but it's going to help with that reaction of the silicone oil with the paint to create that effect. So you'll see here, as I'm using my torch, and I'm now holding the camera in my other hand whilst I use the torch, because I really want you to get a good look at how this is going to transform and react. You can see how it's reacting there with all those different cells popping up. And that's because we've used 3 drops of silicone oil, but only in one colour. So there's not too much silicone, but more than enough to create some really interesting patterns. And I can almost see an abstract bouquet of flowers. It's because I'm using that deep green with those pinks and that gold. And remember, if you're liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. Are you going to try something like this too? I'd love to know if you are. I'm going to take you in now so you can see a closer look. Have a look at those colours and how they've infused together, and how that silicone oil has really helped create those patterns on top, those cells popping through. I will let this dry and then I'll take you in for a look at the dry version. I cheekily left this in because I wanted you to see how happy I really was about this piece. So, as I said, I'm going to let this dry. But before I do, I'm going to just go in just so you can see more details of this wet version. And remember, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, it's free to do, so hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified when I release new pieces. I try and do 2 creations a week and vary my techniques. So please follow along, paint with me, and let me know how you go in your fluid art journey too. So here's the dry version. It's not yet varnished, but what I will do is apply a gloss varnish. I use a spray varnish by Winsor & Newton, but because I've used some silicone, I don't want there to be any oily residue on the surface area. So I will let this dry completely, and then I will wash off the surface area with some soapy water just to get rid of that oil before I varnish, just so that there can be a clear coat of varnish over the top. I really love how that gold shimmers all the way through, and I think those pinks work really well with that deep green. Let me know what you think, and I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care everyone, bye.